Hi there. My name is Scott Marker, and I'm with Network in Action, which is a franchise out of Houston, Texas. And I'm the first franchise here in the Treasure Valley, Idaho. We're all over the United States. I run a once a month professional networking groups. I have 3 groups, and they're comprised of local high caliber professionals. And so I started this podcast on reaching out to high caliber professionals here in the Treasure Valley and trying to pass on they're called Treasure Valley QuickTips, because I'm just trying to give some quick tips on some people that might not be experts in certain fields and need some help in their decisions. So today I brought in Lynn Moore. So why don't you introduce yourself, Lynn?
Hello, I'm Lynn Moore, and I work for Remax Executives out of Nampa and Eagle. We cover all the Treasure Valley, including Emmett and all our surrounding towns. And I've been selling real estate now for almost 18 years full-time, and I love what I do.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, and I like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about Lynn, and it's for a reason, because just from former clients of hers and existing clients. Just talked to one today, but it's friends with another client, and he ranted and raved about what a great job she did. So I'm glad to have her on here to share some of her wisdom. I know the answer to this question, but one thing right off the bat, because some of this questions I'm going to ask you is because of my past not so good experience with a realtor. So why is it important to work with a full-time realtor versus a part-time one?
That's a great question. So right now in our Treasure Valley area, there's over 15,000 realtors.
And last I heard it was
crazy.
10. Now it's up to 15.
15,000. I just got my real estate book out. And so the main thing is with all these new agents coming in, it's really tough with all the competition. So I'd look for a full-time agent instead of a part-timer. A lot of agents think they can come into the business, work part-time, and it just does a disservice to their clients. 100%, I'm in the market daily. I've got current market stats, trends. I know how to prep and prim up that house, getting it ready for sale so that seller can get top dollar. And then I help the buyers when negotiating. That comes into a huge factor, especially with multiple offer situations. Right. And so I'm 100% available to them. I don't have to say, I'll call you when I get off work. Yeah. I work full time, and I'm at their, however they need me. I'm always there for them.
Right. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of funny because some of these questions come from my own experiences, and I'll keep it short. But years ago, my first house ever, I was going to sell it, and I didn't know any different. So I hired the neighbor's relative that was doing it part-time and brand new, and I didn't know any different. And then, long story short, every house I looked at was sold. Had multiple offers, right? And my house for several months didn't have one single person I want to look at and call it. Long story short it's because she was brand new, and she just thought stick a sign in my yard and put a price on it. She way overpriced my house. And, so, I'm looking at houses, and they're getting multiple anyway. So yeah. So when you talk about the full-time thing, I'll agree with that. Cause like I said, nothing it's part, but for me, it's my largest investment and most people's. And I want to get someone that's doing it full-time, not on the side, because anyway, yeah. So with real estate, there's lots of things going on and stuff. So with your experience, years of experience, if you could like wave a magic wand and change something about the industry, what would be like one of the biggest things you'd change?
Number one, Scott, is communication. I cannot tell you when I can't get a hold of another agent, when they list a property or my lenders or title, I need a question answered right away. And my older sister, Roberta, she gave me the best advice. She said, Lynn, when I call, answer, because I want to talk to you and not your answering machine. So I tell all my new agents that come on board with us, number one, answer your phone. If you can, answer it. The only time I will not, and it goes to voicemail, is if I'm with the client or on the other line. Other than that, I will beat feet for my phone. If I step away to get a cup of coffee or something, I answer my phone. That's number one.
And again, it's almost like you're feeding right into my past experiences. That was another challenge I had, was I couldn't get the agent to respond to me, in a timely fashion. And here I'm starting to stress out because no one's looking at my house. Every house I look at. And again, so when you say that, it's like, it's been it's been a lot of years, but still that resonates because I was stressed out because I couldn't, I mean, I'm like, why isn't someone looking at my house? And so I'm trying to email her, call her, text her, and she wouldn't respond to me. And
Yeah.
well, she finally would, but a day later, but I'm like, yeah. So no, I couldn't, for my little bit of experience, that communication is huge, especially with this market so hot and fast.
Oh, yeah.
You need communication. So, again, again, kind of some of my questions tie right into my personal experience. So I apologize, but why do you think it's important for, you have someone from another state looking at, a lot of people move in Idaho. Why go to someone with a lot of experience versus somebody, somebody with 10 plus years experience, somebody that just started, 6 weeks ago?
Well, and that's so true, to get that experienced agent. Number one, somebody that is working full time. When I get a new person to come into town, I give them, I call it my loop. So they said, Lynn, what area do we want to look at? I find out things about them. Do they like to golf? Do they like to fish, hunt,
Oh,
swim? What are the kids' interests? Are they involved in a competitive sport? So I hone in individually that family or their needs. And then when I schedule my appointment with them, I take them around, whether it be Cuna, Meridian, Boise. I show them Star, Eagle, Middleton, and then I take them to my favorite restaurants. I find out what they like to eat, and I'm a foodie, Scott, so I know all the great food places, and I customize their search for them. So after we do that, then I take them. We hone in on price point and where they want to be. And there's just a big science to it. It's when you become a realtor, you become a psychologist, all these other things.
yep.
It's just, there's so much to it. And to make that experience so wonderful and smooth, they never know what's going on the back end, because when they talk to me, I've already got whatever issue has come up. I handle it, tell them what had happened and how it was solved. I bear the brunt of all that. My job is to make them happy from the time they get in my car to the time we're signing it title. They will have no stress or worry. That's
Yeah,
what I love to give my clients.
yeah, that's great. And actually, again, that's why I bring people like you on that are experts in their field, because me from the outside, it's kind of, now that you mentioned, it's like, wow, that's a great thing. Cause you're, what first place I need to look, why do I, if I, what are my interests? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do I want to be by the hills, or do I want to be, what type of, now I have kids, right? They're coming up in big sports. So maybe there's certain schools that have reputations for certain types of sports more than, so that's a great value add for bringing in. Cause again, me not knowing it, that's a great thing. It's coming to be able to ask those questions. Cause that's something as a home buyer, you wouldn't think about. You've been thinking, hey, I want to live in the Treasure Valley. And then you can kind of bring like, so what do you like to do?
Exactly. Yes.
And then if you do like to do that, do you like to commute? No, I don't like to. Oh, okay. That kind of narrows it all into you. And then something else that I think that you do a great job of, just by the more I get to know you, is that you're, and again, it's you mentioned this before, is people coming, they could live here too, but let's say someone coming from out of state comes in here, you've got like a whole team behind you of people, inspectors, lawn people. I mean, all these different resources you have to help somebody come in and go, oh yeah, that's right, I do need that. And you're like, I got that for you. No, I got one of the best ones of those for you. So that's another thing that I think is great that you do, because it ties into what you said about asking the people kind of what their interests are, because that will kind of change maybe where you're going to be looking at homes for them.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that is great. So now I kind of joked, but then I wanted to wait till I talked to you. But you, out of the realtors I've seen before, you have the most acronyms behind your name on your business card than anybody I've ever talked to. So like, tell me what do some of those mean? Because it's kind of funny, but they must mean something.
Oh, exactly. It's a bunch of, I call it my alphabet. So when you become a realtor, you get out of school, and most people just start to work right away or try to, get business.
Yeah.
So my thing is education is key. You've got to know what you're doing. And so CRS is a certified residential specialist. So when I refer agents out, let's say I have a family or people relocating out of state, I get on the phone, Scott, and the first thing I do is I go to my REMAX website for other REMAX agents, because we really focus on training and being professional and be at the
Right.
top of our profession. So then I go in there, I look for someone with at least 10 years experience. And then when I call and they answer the phone, they get a bonus point right away, because that shows that they're answered. But it's just a bonus because I know we get busy with clients.
Yep, yep.
And then I look for the designations. That tells me, Scott, that they took the time to focus on their education. The CRS is not an inexpensive designation. You've usually got to fly out of state, take so many hours training, pass the test. And that's several modules you have to complete. So when I see an agent with that designation, boom, check mark.
Right. So again, so what does it stand for? What do you?
It stands for Certified Residential Specialist. And then I go for the Graduate Realtor Institute, the GRI. That's done local here, and it's a wonderful training program, and it's usually a 2-dayer. And again, they're investing in their profession and themselves to become top of their profession. And then all the others are just classes. I try to get one learning designation a year. And this year mine is going to be the new construction building. So I've taken one module, I've got one to go on marketing and sales, but every year I try to focus on one big designation. And I do that for my clients, because I feel if I'm educated up to knowledge on everything, I'm giving them the best. And that's the only thing I want to give them.
That is great, because like I said, because again, it's like, real estate, there's all these different types of loans, you can get new construction versus existing versus a VA loan.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these different things. And if you just don't have expertise in those, sometimes it would, or fake you have expertise in them. You're always just trying to give the best, the best service for the people you have.
That's right. Exactly.
So here's something. So you have people occasionally, I know that they'll like interview multiple realtors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some challenges come up, and maybe it's a good thing, because you're going to be able to pick up, but then at the same time, what's a challenge with that? Let's say you have 3 different realtors and you're interviewing them. What's something, 1 or 2 things you got to worry about? I mean, not worry about, but like, be cautious of. If your let's say your first realtor you talk to has little experience, is new, nothing against them, but just they're really new, and they're the first person someone talks to interview. What can go awry?
I like that question. So every home is like a person. It's very unique. Even if you go to a mass production builder where we call them cookie cutter homes, every home is unique. Every seller is unique. So the main thing is, what I like to do is get great market numbers, great actual comparable properties that have sold. And then I produce my suggested market price. However, it is a suggestion. The seller can price the home whatever they want to, but it's my job and duty to tell them, hey, you don't want to be priced high and then do price reduction. Right. You become stagnant on the market, and other agents will show your house as a comp to buy the one that's currently at great market value instead of the inflated one. And there's nothing more discouraging to me as if I hear a seller say to me, Lynn, we're going to go with this other agent because they're going to get me this much. And it's just an disservice to them. And when somebody lists with me, I've got the whole marketing plan down. From the time I leave that listing, my wheels are turning. What can I do? And I get them a honey-do list to prepare that home for sale. I know when I walk in and I see the home. And again, like you said, Scott, I've got a great interior designer. I've got all these little tips and tricks that she'll tell my folks what to do to prepare that home. Because when buyers walk in that home, I want them to fall in love. And if there's little certain things that aren't done, you'd be surprised. It could be as much as painting a front door or little things that will set that feeling of, wow, I got to get this house. And that's what I bring for my sellers. So I will give you an honest, fair market value price and no fluff, no inflation, just to get that listing. Like a lot of sellers, they don't know, they're not savvy to that. And it's so important to base that realtor choice on their work ethic, what they're going to do, and how they're going to get that most money for that seller.
Right. And again, hate to keep going back to my example, but a lot of things you're talking about just hit home with me. And exactly what you said about which I didn't, I just used my neighbor's relative, brand new part-time, but that's exactly what they did too, was if I would have been interviewing, I probably would have went with her anyway, because I didn't know any different, right, in realtor. And then also she priced it. I was thinking, this is awesome, right? Well, find out that comparable homes in the area, I was not a little, I mean, way above everybody else. There's a reason why no one was looking at my house, because she just didn't know the market very well. She just thought, oh, high houses are pretty hot right now anyway. So no, that resonates with me, because I could see how somebody could interview somebody and then go with that person when they, because they have the highest number. So you got to look at the whole thing and make sure they know what they're doing.
And then also, Scott, the market will dictate the price. So let's say that they are priced under than what they thought they would like to get. The market will dictate. It's a seller's market right now. We're going to get multiple offers if we're low. We're going to probably, my job is to keep that going to where I can bring that most money for my seller. Right. So it's just a disservice to that seller thinking, hey, she said or he said I'm going to get this. Well, yeah, exactly like your own scenario, Scott. It's so frustrating, and it's frustrating for everybody. You're overpriced. No buyers are coming. Yep. I need to sell. Yeah.
Yeah. So think of, is there anything else you can think of that I haven't asked you that might be, something that you want, because of all your years of experience, you want to share it with some other listeners, if they're looking to sell or buy a house?
Yeah. I tell you, so one thing that really is a pet peeve of mine, and it just gets me with my colleagues, I will look at the settlement statement. So many agents are charging what they call a transaction coordinator fee. Oh. Now, what that is,
I say, so what is that? Because I wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be signing the paperwork.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's just an extra fee for buying or selling a home.
Yeah.
My question is to that realtor that's charging that fee, that should come out of their commission, because what they're doing is paying somebody else to do their paperwork. And when I see that fee on there, or a buyer cancellation fee on a buyer rep, it just makes me cringe, because if that buyer is unhappy working with that agent and there's like $1,000 cancellation fee, well, they're stuck paying $1,000 to get out of a contract with an agent they don't want to work with. So number one, on all my contracts I sign with both buyer and seller, if for any reason buyer or seller is unhappy, they may cancel this agreement at any time.
Wow.
I haven't had anybody cancel on me yet, but you know what? I don't plan on it either, because all my people are happy.
No, and that shows you're confident about what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You don't have to do a poor job and you got somebody roped into it. You're working all the, and another thing I can't stress enough, because again, you mentioned it once and it kind of struck home with me, and it could be locally again here, but still with a lot of people moving from out of state, working with someone like with you, with how many years have you been doing this, Lynn?
Almost 18.
Wow. So 18 years of experience, you know the area really well. And then also I love the fact that you have like just the network of high caliber people, because if you're again, homes is stressful enough to buy a new home, right? So, and sell your home, but to buy a new home, it's stressful enough. Now you're coming from out of state. Maybe you're starting to try to move here too. And you have like I think this is great. And I've met several other people, that high caliber people. I'm just thinking, wow, you're not just a realtor is what I'm saying. You bring like a whole bunch of resources. Like, yes, I'm going to get you the most money for your house. I'm going to help you with all that thing, but you're going to need a lot of other things associated with that house.
That's right.
Like interior decorators, maybe some landscaping, home inspections, and you've got the whole onslaught of resources that back you up, which I think that's, again, until you mentioned it once, and I kind of thought, wow, especially if I was coming from out of state. I grew up here, so third generation, I know a lot of people, but coming from out of state, I just think makes more sense than ever to get someone like you that not only is great at what you do, but you have a whole team behind you that can help people out with other things besides just buying the house.
Exactly. And Scott, that's one thing that just recently, well, it's been about 3 years now, I hired on a full-time assistant. So when I'm out showing property, we don't miss a beat. I call my assistant. She takes care of when I'm out showing. She hammers all that stuff to where we are 100% streamlined and smooth.
Yeah, and I love that, because like you said, when you were talking about communication. That was my challenge. One of my biggest challenges. I couldn't get my realtor to communicate with me. But that was funny because when you were saying, oh, people are showing the homes and stuff. And that made me think of you because I was like, hey, your assistant Tiffany, once I called, you weren't available, and she picked up the phone like that and said, guess what? I'll get that message to her. We'll get right back to you. So no, that's awesome.
Thank
Well,
you,
perfect.
Scott. I do. We've worked so well together. And when I'm on the phone, she'll hear a client or something. Hey, Lynn, what did we end up paying for this or this 5 years ago? Before we hang up, Tiffany's already got the email sent to them. So
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, perfect. So Lynn, thank you very much. This has been awesome. Hey, what I'll do is what's the best way for people to reach out? You know what? I'll actually, whatever that is, I'll put it in the show notes so people can just read it under there. But do you prefer an email or a phone?
I answer text, phone, or email, whatever. I'm
Perfect.
always available.
Perfect. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. But hey, Lynn, it's been a pleasure. I thank you very much. And I think you really approved that, there's a lot more than being a realtor than just on the surface. There's a lot more to it. So thank you very much for today. I really appreciate your time.
I thank you, Scott. We'll see you at the next meeting. And thank you for all what you do. You're amazing.
I appreciate it, Lynn.